Hello and welcome back. And we're going to be making this countdown timer. Boom, it turns red. And yeah, I started off real low at like a minute and a second, just so you could see it turn red real quick. I want you to see what we're going to be making real quick. And underneath the label that holds the timer is another label that holds this text says time remaining. And you could change that in the code. I'll show you. To when it gets like under a minute, you could say like time is critical or something. And when it hits 0, time's up. But when it hits 10 and under, we're going to get a beep, like a countdown. And then when it ends, we'll get an ending sound, like a bomb getting ready to go off. Okay, so there we go. And that's what we're going to be making. Okay. And the way I did it is uh, created a new scene and I called it lake because this is going to be for my fishing game. That's going to be the timer for the tournament. So it's going to be 30 minutes. And actually, yeah, let's do that real quick. We'll set it back up. So uh, I set the time pass to 70, which is 10 seconds over a minute. Okay, so 60 would be a minute. But if you want, say, 30 minutes, it would be 30 times 60. So that would be what, 1800, right? And now if we play it now, we'll get 30 minutes on the timer, like that. So that's what that is. But yeah, we got the lake, and then underneath it, I created a canvas layer, which houses two labels. One is for the timer. If we go in 2D mode, you'll see this is the timer. And I just gave it a color of like yellowish. And I added my own digit font. And if you don't know how to do that, you just, once you add a label, you add new label settings, and then you get a place to put your font and stuff. Once you click it, you can just drag your font over here, and I have some fonts here. You just drag it over, and then that font will take over. Then you can set the size and the color, outline, shadow, and all that. So I set it to like a goldish yellow, and then we got the label text right here. Okay, so that's what that is. We got the timer label, which is a label, and we export it so we can drag it into the inspector. And then the time text label, which is what it says time remaining there. I just showed you, and that's a label. And then two audio stream players. And I know you can do it with one, but I prefer to use a different one for each sound, especially when they're not constantly playing a sound. Because if they're not playing a sound constantly in a loop or something, it's not going to affect your frame rate at all or anything to have multiple. And these are just to play these sounds, and they'll never contradict each other. Like if you just use one player and play different clips on it, it can get out of hand and they can start overriding each other and contradicting each other. So I prefer to have a separate one for the sounds. Okay, so that's the countdown sound, and I simply, from my audio, dragged the sound file over to there, and I made sure that it was set not to autoplay. That's the beeping sound. If you're playing, you can hear it. And then this one, audio times up, is uh, same thing. I set autoplay off, and that's how it sounds. You heard it when it was playing. So that's what that is. And then, of course, the time pass I explained is how much time you want to be on your timer. 1800 equals 30 minutes. Then we have a variable called last second, and we make it an integer and set it to 0. And this is going to be for later on when we want to play the beeping sound every second. Okay, because we get the last second and don't play it again until it's a different second. So then we get our process function, delta float, uh, minus or greater than void. If time pass is greater than 0, so we're counting down to 0, then time pass minus equals delta. So it's kind of like minus equals time. Else, that means we've hit 0, we're equal to it or below it. Else, the time's up sound plays. We set time pass to 0, and we set the process to false to stop the process. That way this sound only plays once, and all this stuff doesn't keep happening every frame after we hit 0. And here's where you would put your end stuff for, whatever you're using your timer for. All right, for me, I just played that sound. Sound time's up, play. And then here you got a commented line where you could change the time text label text. You could say like time's up here or something. I don't want that, but you know, it's there if you want to put it in and change the label text. And then if time pass is less than 60, so now we're at critical, okay, we're under a minute. All right. Time label.modulate equals color.red. I changed the color from the goldish yellow to red to show the player time is now critical. Okay, because we're under 1 minute out of 30 for me, so that would be critical. So then we've got, you could change the text again to like time is critical, but I don't want to do that. I didn't like it was the way it was lining up, so I commented those out. But if you want to do it, that's what you do. And then we modulate the text labels color to red as well. Okay. And then we get a variable minutes is for minutes and second is for seconds, and we set it to an int. And then int time pass for the minutes is divided by 60, and int time pass for the seconds is percentage 60. Then we get the timer label.text, and this right here, the percentage in the D just tells it that to use integers, and the O2 is telling it to make sure there's 2 spaces for integers. So you've got 2 spaces for the minutes and 2 spaces for the seconds. That could be like 0, 1 and 0, 2 up to 10. And you know what I mean? You need 2. So that's what that does. Makes 2 spaces and make sure they're integers. Percent, min, minutes, and seconds. And then that happens when time is less than 60. But if time is less than 10 and the seconds don't equal last seconds, like I explained the last second would be used for, last second equals second, so we store the current second to prevent repeats, and then we play the beeping sound. Okay. So that's the end beep sound when we're below 0 or equal to it, and that's the beeping sound under 10 seconds. But really, I should play it the whole 60 because it's kind of boring not hearing it. But let's try that and see what it does here. If we're under 60. Okay, and let's try that and see how it sounds. Oh, I set it to 30. I'm sorry. I got to set it back to just over 60. Okay, here we go. So now we're at a minute. And we'll hear it go off 60 times, that beep. Um, I guess it's all in what you're going for. For me, if I'm starting at 30 minutes for a tournament and you get down to under a minute, I might want to hear this to tell me, hey, I got to get my boat back to the dock to turn my fish in and whatever. And, now's the time to go instead of the last 10 seconds. Because you might not always be paying attention visually to the color of the timer or the time if you're doing something. So having that audio backup to let the player know time is critical, I mean, that's not too bad for 60 seconds. And there we go. So either way, that's a good countdown timer for you. And hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. And if you liked it, please hit the like button. It helps a lot with the YouTube algorithm. And subscribe if you haven't. Leaving a comment also really helps with the YouTube algorithm. So let's get, these videos shown to more people because they're not showing it to enough people because it's a new channel and it's small. So if you like what you saw, subscribe, like, and leave a comment. And that is supporting the channel for free. It's just doing that. So thank you. And until next time, peace out. Oh, and I'm going to try to paste this code into the first comment down below. And I know it'll be open because nobody ever comments, but I'm going to paste the code down into the first comment down below so you can just copy it out and paste it into your code. And you don't have to type all that out. And we'll see how that works out, if that works out good for people. Okay, so again, cheers, peace out.